My phone trembles in my hands as I watch my carefully crafted proposal video crumble before my eyes. Jake's laughter echoes through my earbuds. Cruel, calculated, victorious. He sabotaged it on purpose. The romantic montage I spent weeks editing now features humiliating footage of me drunk at my college graduation party, my face bloated and mascara streaked, spliced between tender moments I thought would make him cry happy tears. Not again, I whisper, remembering how he humiliated me that night too, posting those same photos when I was too wasted to stop him. But this time feels different. This time, I'm reborn with rage. The bitter taste of betrayal coats my tongue as I scroll through the corrupted video. What should have been my surprise proposal, me getting down on one knee in our favorite coffee shop, surrounded by fairy lights I'd strung up after hours, now looks like a desperate woman's pathetic attempt at love. Jake had access to my laptop. Jake knew my passwords. Jake planned this destruction for weeks while I poured my heart into every transition, every song choice, every second of what I thought would be our forever moment. "Babe, you okay in there?" His voice drifts through the bathroom door, sickeningly sweet. I can hear him trying not to laugh. I splash cold water on my face, letting the icy shock center me. The fluorescent light buzzes overhead, casting harsh shadows that make my reflection look like a stranger. Someone harder. Someone who's done being a victim. "Coming out now," I call, forcing steadiness into my voice. Jake lounges on our bed. No, his bed, I realize now, scrolling through his phone with that satisfied smirk I used to find charming. The room reeks of his cologne, overwhelming and cloying, making my stomach lurch. "So," I say carefully, "I was just reviewing the proposal video one more time before tomorrow and—" "Oh, that?" He doesn't even look up. "Yeah, I made some improvements. You were being way too sentimental, needed more reality." My fingers dig into my palms. Reality? Come on, Sarah, you've been so controlling about this whole thing. Planning every detail, micromanaging every moment. I thought you needed to be taken down a peg. He finally meets my eyes, and there's no remorse there, only amusement. "Plus, those graduation photos are hilarious. You looked like a hot mess." The words slice through me, but underneath the pain, something cold and calculating begins to unfurl. This isn't just cruelty. It's strategic. He's been planning to destroy this moment for weeks, watching me work on the video every night, nodding along as I shared my excitement, all while plotting my humiliation. "You're right," I hear myself say. "I have been controlling." Jake's eyebrows lift in surprise. He expected tears, arguments, begging. Instead, I walk calmly to my dresser and pull out the small velvet box I've been hiding for months. The ring inside cost me 3 months' salary, a simple band with his birthstone, exactly what he'd mentioned wanting. "I was going to give you this tomorrow," I say, setting it on the nightstand between us. "But you're absolutely right about me being controlling. So here it is. No ceremony, no video, no fairy lights." For a moment, uncertainty flickers across his face. This isn't the script he wrote for tonight. "Sarah, and you know what else?" I continue, my voice steady as steel. "I'm keeping it." "What?" I pocket the ring box, watching his confusion transform into indignation. "You said I'm too controlling, that I need to be taken down a peg. So I'm controlling this moment. I'm keeping the ring. And I'm taking myself down a peg by not proposing to someone who clearly doesn't respect me." Jake scrambles to sit up straighter. "Wait, hold on. That's not what I meant." "Isn't it?" I pull out my phone, making sure the voice recording app is already running before I set it on the dresser. "Tell me, Jake, how long have you been planning to ruin tomorrow?" The question hangs in the air like smoke. Outside our window, a car alarm begins its shrill song, matching the chaos building in my chest. "I wasn't trying to ruin anything," he says, but his eyes dart away. "I was just adding some humor." Humor? I let the words sink between us. "Like when you posted those same photos during my graduation party? That was humor too? You were being dramatic about that. Or when you told everyone at work about my anxiety attacks, that was humor?" Jake's face hardens. "You're being paranoid." "Am I?" I lean forward, close enough to smell the guilt on his breath. Tell me about the weeks of planning, Jake. Tell me about how you've been accessing my laptop, watching me work on something that meant everything to me, all while plotting to destroy it. I don't know what you're talking about. But his hands are trembling now, and sweat beads along his hairline despite the air conditioning. I've touched something he doesn't want exposed. Here's what's going to happen, I say, standing and smoothing down my shirt. I'm going to leave for a while. When I come back, I want you to think very carefully about whether you want to tell me the truth, or if you want to keep pretending this was just a harmless joke. Sarah, come on. And Jake? I pause at the bedroom door, my hand resting on the frame. The wood feels solid, grounding. I'd be very careful about what you post on social media tonight. Very careful. I can feel his eyes burning into my back as I walk away, but I don't turn around. In the living room, I grab my keys and purse, my movements precise and controlled. Through the walls, I hear him curse, and the bed creak as he gets up. My phone buzzes as I reach my car, a notification from Instagram. Jake has posted the ruined proposal video. The betrayal hits me like ice water, shocking and absolute. He couldn't even wait 5 minutes. Couldn't give me the dignity of leaving before he humiliated me publicly. Already, comments are pouring in, laughing emojis, yikes reactions. His friends chiming in with their own jokes about desperate women and pathetic proposals. But as I sit in my car, reading each cruel comment, something remarkable happens. The devastation I expected doesn't come. Instead, clarity crystallizes around me like frost on glass. Jake has just shown me exactly who he is, and more importantly, he's given me everything I need to show everyone else. I open my notes app and begin typing. Evidence log, day 1. Jay deliberately sabotaged proposal video with humiliating photos, posted to social media without consent after promising to think carefully. Audio recording of conversation, file attached. Screenshots of social media post and comments, attached. My phone buzzes with a call from Maya, my best friend. I almost decline. I'm not ready to explain, not ready to hear the pity in her voice. But something tells me to answer. Sarah, honey, I just saw Maya. My voice cuts through her sympathy. I need you to tell me something, and I need you to be completely honest. A pause. Of course. How long has Jake been talking shit about me behind my back? The silence stretches so long, I think the call dropped. Then Maya sighs, and I hear her kitchen chair scrape against the floor. Months, she admits quietly. Sarah, I've been trying to figure out how to tell you. What did he say? He called you clingy, desperate. Said you were basically forcing him into a relationship he didn't want. Her voice grows smaller. He said the proposal thing was just you being dramatic and attention-seeking. Each word lands like a physical blow, but instead of breaking me, they forge something harder in my chest. Jake hasn't just been passively cruel. He's been systematically undermining me, preparing everyone in our social circle to see me as the pathetic girlfriend who couldn't take a hint. Maya, I say, my voice steady despite the storm in my head, I need you to start paying attention to exactly what Jake says about me. Can you do that? Sarah, can you do that? Another pause, then quietly, yes. Good. And Maya, don't let him know we had this conversation. I hang up before she can ask questions I'm not ready to answer. My hands are steady as I start the car, though my heart hammers against my ribs like it's trying to escape. The engine purrs to life and I can smell summer rain gathering in the air, promising storms. Jake thinks he's won tonight. He thinks he's taught me a lesson about knowing my place, about not reaching above my station. He has no idea that all he's done is teach me exactly what kind of man he really is. And more importantly, he's taught me that I'm done being the kind of woman who accepts it. As I drive away from the apartment, from him, I catch my reflection in the rearview mirror. The woman looking back at me has the same face, but her eyes are different. Harder. Calculating. For the first time in months, I smile. 3 days pass before Jake surfaces again, and when he does, it's with the confidence of a man who believes he's already won. I'm wiping down tables at Grounded, the coffee shop where we both work, when he saunters in during the evening rush with his entire friend group. The smell of espresso and steamed milk fills the air, but Underneath it, I catch his cologne. That same overwhelming scent that now makes my skin crawl. Sarah, he calls out, loud enough for the whole cafe to hear. How's my favorite proposal queen doing? Laughter ripples through his group. Marcus, his roommate, actually snorts into his latte. Emma, who I thought was my friend too, covers her mouth but can't hide her grin. The betrayal burns, but I've learned to let it fuel something colder. I look up from my table, cloth still in hand, and paste on the brightest smile I can muster. Jake, oh my God, you guys all saw the video? Are you kidding? This from Tyler, Jake's gaming buddy. It's been shared like 50 times already. That graduation footage was chef's kiss. My manager David glances over from behind the counter, his expression uncomfortable. The cafe buzzes with conversation, but I can feel other customers tuning into our drama. This is exactly what Jake wanted, a public stage for my humiliation. I know, right? I force a laugh, setting down my cloth. I can't believe I was such a mess that night. Thank God Jake saved me from making an even bigger fool of myself with that proposal. The group exchanges glances. This isn't the reaction they expected. Seriously, I continue, walking closer to their table. I was being so clingy and desperate. Jake was just trying to help me see how ridiculous I was being. Jake's smile falters slightly. He designed this moment to break me down, to watch me crumble under public ridicule. My agreement is throwing off his script. Right, he says slowly. I mean, you were getting pretty carried away with the whole thing. Totally carried away. I nod enthusiastically. Actually, you know what? Let me buy you guys around to celebrate Jake saving me from my own desperation. I turn toward the counter before anyone can respond, but I catch Jake's expression in the reflection of the pastry case. Confusion mixed with suspicion. He's trying to figure out my angle, why I'm not giving him the emotional breakdown he's clearly craving. As I prepare their drinks, my fingers tremble, not with fear, but with the effort of maintaining this performance. Each laugh from their table feels like a needle under my skin, but I've discovered something powerful in the past 3 days. There's strength in letting people underestimate you. After they leave, still laughing about my good sportsmanship, I lock up the cafe and head home to my real work. Not the cramped studio apartment Jake thinks I live in, but my actual place. A sleek one-bedroom in the renovated district that I pay for with income he knows nothing about. I fire up my laptop and open a spreadsheet I've been building. Jake's patterns meticulously documented. Every cruel comment Maya has reported. Every social media interaction. Every time he's used my passwords or accessed my accounts. The scope of his manipulation is breathtaking when laid out in black and white. But tonight, I'm adding a new column. Vulnerabilities. Jake's Netflix account, shared with his gaming buddies for their weekly streams. Password saved in my browser from when he used my laptop. His Spotify premium, paid for with a credit card I helped him apply for. His Amazon account, still logged in on my tablet from when he ordered something last month. One by one, I begin making changes. Nothing dramatic, just adjustments. The next evening, Jake's streaming with Tyler and Marcus. I know because he always broadcasts on Thursday nights, and I've been watching from a coffee shop across town, their laughter echoing through my earbuds as they play their games and make jokes at my expense. At exactly 8:47 p.m., during the middle of their biggest match, Jake's Netflix cuts out. What the hell? I hear him mutter through the stream. Guys, hold on. My account's not working. Then Spotify stops. His music cuts off mid-song. Dude, your internet okay? Tyler asks. Yeah, it's not the internet. Jake's voice grows frustrated. None of my streaming stuff is working. I close my laptop and smile. It's a small thing, barely a pinprick compared to what he's done to me. But it's mine. And it's the beginning. The following Monday, Jake corners me during my break, his face flushed with anger. Did you mess with my accounts? He demands, backing me against the storage room wall. The small space smells like coffee beans and cleaning supplies, and I can hear his breathing, harsh and rapid. What accounts? I ask innocently, not backing down despite his proximity. You know what accounts? Netflix, Spotify, Amazon. Everything stopped working during my stream. Maybe you forgot to pay the bills? I suggest. I mean, you have been pretty stressed lately. His eyes narrow. I know it was you. Jake, I say softly, reaching out to touch his arm. He jerks away like I've burned him. Why would I mess with your accounts? I've been nothing but supportive since you helped me see how unrealistic I was being. Because you're. He stops himself, but I can see the words he wants to say. Crazy, vindictive, a psycho ex-girlfriend. I'm what? I prompt gently. He steps back, running a hand through his hair. Nothing, just, if you did something, undo it. I didn't do anything, I lie smoothly. But maybe this is a sign that you should start taking responsibility for your own stuff instead of relying on other people's passwords. The barb hits home. Jake's jaw tightens, but he can't argue without admitting he's been using my accounts without permission. Whatever, he mutters, pushing past me toward the door. But if weird shit keeps happening? What? I call after him. You'll humiliate me on social media again? Post embarrassing photos? Turn our friends against me? He freezes in the doorway, his shoulders rigid. Because from where I'm standing, I continue, my voice carrying just enough hurt to sound genuine. It seems like the only one doing weird shit around here is you. Jake leaves without another word, but I can smell his anger lingering in the storage room like smoke. That afternoon, my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Hi, this might be weird, but I'm Chloe, Jake's ex. Maya gave me your number. Can we talk? I stare at the message for a long moment. Chloe. Jake mentioned her exactly once, calling her clingy and dramatic. The same words Maya told me he uses about me. The same words he probably uses about every woman who expects basic respect. I text back, coffee tomorrow? I'll send you the address. The next morning, Chloe turns out to be nothing like I expected. She's confident, articulate, successful. A marketing director for a mid-sized firm downtown. As she settles into the cafe booth across from me, her perfectly styled hair catching the morning sunlight, I realize Jake's description of her was just another lie. So, she says, stirring her cappuccino slowly, Maya told me what happened with the proposal video. I nod, studying her face for judgment. Instead, I find recognition. He did something similar to me, she continues. I was planning a surprise party for his birthday. Spent weeks coordinating with his friends, booking a venue, the whole thing. The day of the party, he shows up 3 hours late, drunk, with some girl from his work. The familiar ache of betrayal pulses in my chest. What did you do? Cried, made excuses for him, convinced myself it was somehow my fault for not communicating better. She takes a sip of her coffee, and I notice her hands are steady. Took me 6 more months to figure out he was doing it on purpose. On purpose? Jake gets off on making women feel desperate, Chloe explains, her voice matter-of-fact. He builds you up just enough to get you invested, then systematically tears you down. Makes you feel like you're asking for too much, expecting too much, being too much. The words hit like ice water. Every fight we've had, every time I've ended up apologizing for my own feelings, every moment I've questioned whether I was being unreasonable, it's all been orchestrated. I have screenshots, Chloe says quietly. Text conversations where he brags about keeping me in line. Photos he took of me crying after fights, captioned with jokes for his friends. My stomach churns. He photographed you crying? He thought it was hilarious, called it emotional blackmail documentation. Her laugh is bitter. Apparently, I was too sensitive. I think of all the times Jake has pulled out his phone during our arguments, claiming he was just checking messages. How many photos does he have of me? How many moments of my pain has he turned into entertainment? Why are you telling me this? I ask. Chloe meets my eyes, and for the first time, I see steel underneath her polished exterior. Because Maya said you're planning something, and because I should have done something when I had the chance. What kind of something? She slides her phone across the table. On the screen are screenshots of text conversations, Jake bragging about training his girlfriends, sharing intimate details about their insecurities, making jokes about their desperation. The messages are recent. Some are about me. She actually spent weeks making a proposal video LMAO. Desperate much? Don't worry, I fixed it for her, added some reality to her fantasy. She needed to be humbled. The messages blur as anger floods my vision. This isn't just casual cruelty, it's systematic, calculated humiliation. Jake has been documenting my vulnerability, sharing my private moments, making me the punchline of jokes I didn't even know existed. Send me these, I say, my voice barely above a whisper. Already done. Chloe's smile is sharp as broken glass. And Sarah, whatever you're planning, make it count. That evening, I sit in my real apartment, surrounded by printed screenshots and my growing evidence file. The air conditioning hums steadily, a white noise backdrop to my racing thoughts. On my laptop screen, I'm building something new, a website with a simple, clean design and a devastating purpose. The domain name cost me $12, thejakechronicles.com, but I'm not ready to launch it yet. Jake thinks he's won, thinks he's successfully ground me down into grateful submission. Let him think that a little longer. Let him get comfortable, let him make more mistakes. My phone buzzes with a notification. Jake's posted another social media update. A photo of him and his friends at a bar, captioned, "Good friends help you dodge bullets, #grateful #lessons learned." The comments are full of congratulations and jokes about crazy exes and red flags. Our mutual friends, people I considered close, are liking and laughing, completely unaware of the manipulation they're celebrating. I screenshot the post and add it to my collection. Tomorrow, Jake thinks he's going to work his usual shift, confident that he's successfully put me in my place. He has no idea that while he's been playing his little games, I've been playing a much larger one. And I'm just getting started, and 2 weeks pass in strange, suspended peace. Jake treats me with the patronizing kindness of a victor, and I let him. At work, he ruffles my hair like I'm a pet who's finally learned to heel. During our shared shifts, he makes little jokes about lessons learned and growing up, and I laugh along like a good sport. Our coworkers exchange glances that I pretend not to notice. The look people give when they're watching someone who's been thoroughly defeated accept their place. The performance is exhausting but necessary. Every day, Jake grows more confident in his dominance, more careless with his words. And every day, I document everything. Then, on a Thursday morning that tastes like rain and betrayal, Maya calls me with information that changes everything. "Sarah, you need to know something," she says without preamble. I can hear traffic in the background. She's calling from her car, probably on her way to work. Jake's planning something big. My fingers tighten around my phone. What kind of something? He invited his parents to come visit this weekend. Told them he's finally ready to propose to you. The words hit like ice water. What? He's been talking about it at the bar, making it sound like some grand romantic gesture. Said he wants to do it right this time, after your failed attempt. Maya's voice is tight with disgust. Sarah, he's setting up some public thing at the farmer's market on Saturday. His parents are driving down to witness it. I sink onto my couch, my mind racing. Jake's parents adore me, or they did before he started poisoning them with his version of events. They probably think this is genuine, a real proposal from their son to the woman they hoped he'd settle down with. There's more, Maya continues, and my stomach drops. Tyler let slip that Jake bought a fake ring from some costume jewelry place. He's planning to use it for the proposal, and then, I don't know, Sarah. Tyler seemed to think it was all some kind of joke. The pieces fall into place with sickening clarity. Another public humiliation, but bigger this time. His parents recording every moment, his friends planted in the crowd to capture my reaction when I realize the ring is fake. Maybe he'll change his mind at the last second, leaving me kneeling in front of everyone. Maybe he'll turn it into another lesson about desperation and knowing my place. Maya, I say slowly, I need you to do something for me. Anything. I need you to act excited about the proposal. Tell people you can't wait to see it happen. Really sell it. A pause. Sarah, what are you planning? Nothing dramatic, I lie smoothly. I just want to be prepared this time. Prepared how? Trust me. After Maya hangs up, I sit in my apartment for a long time, staring at the wall where I've been building my evidence board. Photos, screenshots, recordings, testimonials from other women who've encountered Jake's particular brand of cruelty. The pattern is clear, documented, undeniable. But now I have a deadline. And suddenly, all my careful planning crystallizes into a single, beautiful possibility. I open my laptop and begin typing. Subject, weekend launch, time sensitive. Hi, Chloe. Remember how you said to make it count? Saturday's the day. Can you be free around 2 p.m.? I'll need witnesses. Sarah, P.S. Bring your camera. Saturday morning dawns crisp and clear, the kind of perfect autumn day that makes everything feel possible. I dress carefully, a sundress Jake complimented once, paired with the boots he bought me for our 6-month anniversary. If I'm going to attend my own public execution, I might as well look good doing it. The farmer's market bustles with weekend energy. Local vendors hawk everything from organic produce to handmade jewelry, and the air smells like kettle corn and coffee. Families stroll between booths, children clutching balloons and cotton candy. It's exactly the kind of wholesome, photogenic setting Jake would choose for maximum impact. I spot his parents first, his mother clutching her purse nervously, his father checking his phone every few seconds. They're positioned near the main stage where a local band is setting up, clearly waiting for something to begin. Jake's friends are scattered throughout the crowd, phones ready, trying to look casual while obviously coordinating something. Maya appears at my elbow, her face tight with worry. Sarah, maybe we should leave. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do, I say softly, watching Jake emerge from behind the coffee booth with a small velvet box in his hand. But Maya, whatever happens next, don't try to comfort me. Just let it play out. What do you mean? Sarah! Jake's voice booms across the market, amplified by a borrowed microphone. Sarah, could you come here for a minute? Every head in the market turns toward me. Parents shield their children's eyes as if expecting something explosive. Vendors pause mid-transaction. Even the band stops tuning their instruments. I walk toward Jake slowly, letting my expression cycle through confusion, hope, and dawning realization. It's not difficult. Part of me is genuinely curious about what theatrical cruelty he's planned. Sarah, Jake says into the microphone, his voice carrying across the suddenly silent market. I know I messed up with your proposal video. A murmur runs through the crowd. Behind Jake, his mother beams and his father holds up his phone to record. I know I hurt you, Jake continues, and I want to make it right, in front of everyone, so there's no question about how I feel. He drops to one knee and the crowd erupts in appreciative ahs. Someone starts clapping. A child squeals with delight. Jake opens the velvet box, revealing a ring that glitters convincingly in the afternoon sunlight. Up close, I can see it's costume jewelry, the kind of thing you'd find in a mall kiosk. But from a distance, surrounded by the golden light and the crowd's excitement, it looks real enough. Sarah, Jake says, his voice thick with performed emotion, will you marry me? The market holds its breath. Phones and cameras point in my direction. Jake's parents are crying, actual tears of joy. For a moment, I almost feel sorry for them. They have no idea their son is performing elaborate psychological torture for his own entertainment. I look down at Jake, kneeling in the grass with his fake ring and his fake sincerity, and I feel nothing. No rage, no heartbreak, no humiliation. Just a cold, crystalline clarity. Oh my God, I breathe into the silence, just loud enough for the crowd to hear. Jake, I can't believe you're doing this. He grins triumphantly, misreading my tone completely. Is that a yes? I take a step backward, my hand fluttering to my chest in apparent shock. I need a minute. This is just so unexpected. Sarah? Jake's grin falters slightly. This isn't the script he wrote. I'm sorry, I say, louder now, projecting my voice across the market. I need to think. I'm so sorry, everyone. I need to go. I turn and run, pushing through the crowd as gasps and murmurs follow in my wake. Behind me, I hear Jake calling my name, his voice cracking with what might be genuine panic. The story he's trying to tell, magnanimous boyfriend fixes his mistakes with grand gesture, has just become woman runs away from public proposal. I don't stop running until I reach my car, parked 3 blocks away. Only then do I pull out my phone and type a single text message, execute plan B. The response comes immediately. Website going live now, huh? See, and just like that, Jake's world begins to crumble. I drive back to my real apartment, change into comfortable clothes, and settle in to watch the destruction unfold from the safety of my living room. My laptop shows the visitor counter for the JakeChronicles.com climbing steadily as Chloe and our small network of allies share the link across social media. The website is everything I've spent months building. A comprehensive documentation of Jake's patterns of manipulation, complete with screenshots, audio recordings, and testimonials from multiple women. The fake proposal story, live blogged by Maya and Chloe from the farmer's market, provides the perfect dramatic opening. My phone buzzes constantly with notifications as the story spreads. People are sharing it, commenting, adding their own experiences with Jake. The hashtag #JakeChronicles starts trending locally. And at 6 p.m., my doorbell rings. I check the security monitor and see Jake standing in my hallway, still in his farmer's market clothes, looking haggard and desperate. For a moment, I consider not answering. But this conversation has been inevitable since the moment I decided to fight back. I open the door but don't invite him in. "You," he says without preamble, his voice raw with rage. "You did this." "Did what?" I ask innocently. "The website, the posts, everything." His hands shake as he holds up his phone. "People are calling me a sociopath. My parents won't stop crying. They canceled my gig at the brewery tonight." "That sounds terrible," I say flatly. "You should probably talk to whoever's responsible." "It's you," he shouts, loud enough that my neighbor's doors start opening. "It's your website, your lies, your revenge." My revenge? I step into the hallway, letting my door close behind me. "Jake, I've been nothing but supportive since you helped me understand how desperate and clingy I was being. Remember? Stop playing games." "I'm not playing anything." My voice stays level, calm. "I'm standing in my hallway being accused of something by a man who publicly humiliated me twice, manipulated me for months, and then performed fake proposals as entertainment for his friends." Jake's mouth opens and closes like a fish. Down the hall, Mrs. Chen is recording everything on her phone. "You can't prove I did anything," I continue. "But even if I had, wouldn't I just be following your example? Using someone's private moments for public entertainment? Documenting their emotional responses for other people's amusement? That's different." "How?" He stares at me, and for the first time since I've known him, Jake looks genuinely powerless. The easy cruelty, the confident manipulation, all of it has evaporated, leaving behind just a small, petty man who's been caught. "Take it down," he says finally. "I can't take down something I didn't create," I reply. "But you know what you can do? You can learn what it feels like when someone you trust decides to destroy your reputation for fun." I step back toward my door, and Jake lunges forward as if to stop me. Instantly, 3 of my neighbors emerge fully from their apartments, including Mr. Rodriguez, who's built like a linebacker and doesn't appreciate men who threaten women in his building. "Problem here?" Mr. Rodriguez asks mildly. Jake looks around at the faces surrounding him, all of them having heard our conversation, all of them now aware of exactly who he is and what he's done. The hallway smells like Mrs. Chen's cooking and Mr. Rodriguez's aftershave, normal domestic scents that make Jake's desperation seem even more pathetic. "No problem," Jake says quietly. "I was just leaving." As he retreats toward the elevator, I call after him. "Jake, you might want to check your social media. I think some old posts might be resurfacing." The elevator doors close on his stricken face, and I finally allow myself to smile. Back in my apartment, I pour myself a glass of wine and return to my laptop. The visitor counter for the JakeChronicles.com has broken 10,000. Jake's social media accounts are in chaos. Old posts he thought he'd deleted are mysteriously reappearing. Dating profiles he'd forgotten about are being discovered and shared. And his comment sections are flooded with people who now see him clearly. But the best part isn't the public humiliation. It's the private messages I'm receiving from other women. Some who knew Jake. Others who recognize the patterns from their own relationships. Women thanking me for showing them they're not crazy, not oversensitive, not asking for too much. Women who are finally ready to stop accepting less than they deserve. My phone buzzes with a text from Maya. "The farmer's market thing was brutal. Are you okay?" I type back, "I'm Reborn." And for the first time in months, I mean it completely. The victory lasts exactly 18 hours. Sunday morning, I wake to my phone buzzing with an urgent call from Chloe. Sunlight streams through my bedroom windows, and for a moment, everything feels perfect. until I hear her voice. Sarah, we have a problem. I sit up immediately, my stomach dropping. What kind of problem? Jake found out about your consulting business. The words hit like ice water. I'm fully awake now, my mind racing. How? I don't know, but he's been calling everyone we know, telling them you're some kind of professional manipulator. He's saying you targeted him on purpose, that the whole relationship was fake. Chloe's voice is tight with worry. Sarah, he has screenshots of your real LinkedIn profile, your client testimonials, everything. I close my eyes, trying to think. My consulting business, helping people identify and escape manipulative relationships, isn't exactly a secret, but I've kept it separate from my personal life for obvious reasons. Jake knowing about it changes everything. There's more, Chloe continues. He's threatening to go to your clients. Tell them you're unstable. He's already posted your business address online. My blood turns to ice. He what? The address for Clarity Consulting. It's all over his social media. He's calling it a public service announcement about predatory relationship coaches. I'm already moving, throwing on clothes while keeping the phone pressed to my ear. The morning air feels sharp against my skin as adrenaline floods my system. Chloe, I need you to do something for me. Can you meet me at my office in an hour? Of course, but Sarah, and bring your camera. We're going to end this today. My office building feels different as I approach it, violated somehow, knowing Jake has turned it into a target. The glass doors reflect my pale face as I swipe my keycard, and the elevator's familiar hum sounds ominous rather than comforting. Chloe arrives 30 minutes later, her arms full of coffee and pastries from the shop downstairs. Stress-eating provisions, she explains, but her eyes are worried. I've spent the last half hour preparing for a conversation I never wanted to have. My office, normally a sanctuary of calm neutrality where I help clients rebuild their lives, now feels like a war room. Chloe, I say, settling into my chair, I need to tell you something about why I really sought Jake out. Her eyebrows lift. Sought him out? I didn't meet him by accident at the coffee shop. I knew exactly who he was when I applied for that job. The words taste bitter, but necessary. I targeted him deliberately. Chloe sets down her coffee slowly. Why? I open my desk drawer and pull out a photo. A young woman with my eyes, but softer features, her smile bright and trusting. My sister, Emma, she dated Jake 2 years ago, right before I moved to town. Your sister, Chloe's voice is flat, processing. He destroyed her. Systematically, completely. Used every technique in his playbook, the gaslighting, the public humiliation, the isolation from friends and family. By the time he was done with her, she was convinced she was worthless. My hands tremble as I hold the photo. She tried to kill herself, Chloe. Spent 3 months in intensive therapy because a man decided her self-esteem was his personal entertainment. The office falls silent except for the hum of the air conditioning. Outside, Seattle traffic provides a distant soundtrack to my confession. When I found out who had done that to her, I started researching Jake. Found Chloe, the real Chloe, not the version Jake described. Found 3 other women with similar stories. Realized he had a pattern, a system. I meet her eyes, so I decided to document it, all of it. The consulting business? Real, but relatively new. I started it after Emma's attempt, trying to understand manipulation tactics so I could help other people recognize them. I gestured to the certificates on my wall, the stack of client files. But Jake became my primary case study. Chloe leans back in her chair, her expression unreadable. So, when you applied at the coffee shop? I knew he worked there. I researched his schedule, his preferences, his usual hangouts. I made myself into exactly the kind of woman he typically targets. Successful enough to be worth conquering, but vulnerable enough to seem achievable. The proposal video? I wanted to see how far he'd go. How completely he'd sabotage something that mattered to me. I pull out my laptop and open a folder labeled Jake Documentation. I've been recording everything, Chloe. Not just for revenge, for research. For a book I'm writing about systematic emotional abuse. The folder contains hundreds of files, audio recordings, screenshot timelines, pattern analyses, comparison charts with his other victims. Months of meticulous documentation that would make any researcher proud and any manipulator terrified. My God, Chloe breathes, scrolling through the files. This is comprehensive. Jake thinks he's exposed me as some kind of predator, but all he's really done is expose himself to someone who's been studying him like a lab rat for 8 months. I close the laptop and lean forward. And now I think it's time to publish my findings. Chloe's phone buzzes with a text. She glances at it and pales. Sarah, Jake's not just posting your business address. He's on his way here with his parents and some of his friends. Through my office window, I can see a small crowd gathering on the sidewalk below. Jake stands in the center, gesticulating wildly as he talks to a man with a notebook. A journalist, maybe, or just someone with a blog. His parents hover nearby, looking confused and embarrassed. He's trying to control the narrative, I realize. Position himself as the victim before I can respond. What do? I stand and smooth my skirt, checking my reflection in the window. The woman looking back at me is calm, professional, and completely in control. For the first time in months, I'm not pretending to be someone else. We go downstairs and give him exactly what he's asking for, I say, gathering my files. The truth. All of it. All of it. The elevator ride down feels like descending into an arena. My heart pounds against my ribs, but my hands are steady as I clutch my documentation. Beside me, Chloe checks her camera settings, preparing to record whatever happens next. The lobby doors open onto chaos. Jake spots me immediately and rushes forward, his face flushed with righteous anger. There she is, he shouts, loud enough for everyone on the street to hear. The professional manipulator who pretended to love me while documenting everything for her sick research. His parents look mortified. The journalist perks up, sensing a story. Passers-by slow their walk, phones already emerging to capture whatever drama is about to unfold. I stop 3 feet away from Jake, close enough to speak without shouting, but far enough to maintain my dignity. The afternoon air smells like rain and car exhaust. Urban scents that ground me in reality. Hello, Jake, I say calmly. I understand you have some concerns about my business practices. Concerns? He laughs wildly. You lied to me for months. You pretended to be some broke coffee shop worker while you were actually running a business stalking people like me. People like you, I repeat thoughtfully. And what kind of person is that exactly? The question hangs in the air. Jake's mouth opens and closes, realizing he's walked into a trap. You know what you are, he says finally. Actually, I do. I open my folder and pull out the first document, a timeline of his behavior patterns. You're a man who systematically targets vulnerable women, builds their trust, then destroys their self-esteem for entertainment. You're someone who photographs women while they're crying and shares those images with friends as jokes. You're someone who sabotages important moments in people's lives because you enjoy watching them suffer. You're someone who drove my sister to attempt suicide. I continue, my voice carrying clearly across the street. And when I decided to study your methods to help other women recognize manipulation, you proved every single one of my theories correct. Jake's face goes white. Behind him, his mother gasps audibly. Emma, she whispers. Emma was your sister. You know Emma? I ask, genuinely surprised. Jake's father steps forward, his expression grim. She came to our house once, after they broke up. She was crying, asking us if we knew why Jake had suddenly turned so cruel. We thought she was just being dramatic. She wasn't being dramatic, I say softly. She was being systematically destroyed by someone who found her emotional pain amusing. I pull out another document. Emma's suicide note written in her shaky handwriting during her darkest moment. She wrote this 2 years ago. Would you like me to read what she said about your son? Sarah, don't, Jake pleads, but his voice has lost all its authority. She wrote, I don't understand what I did wrong. I loved him completely, and he turned that love into a weapon against me. I must be fundamentally broken for someone to treat me that way. Maybe everyone would be better off if I wasn't here to disappoint them anymore. The silence that follows is deafening. Even the traffic seems to pause. Jake's mother is crying openly now, and his father looks like he's aged 10 years in 10 seconds. That's why I came here, I continue, addressing the small crowd that's gathered. Not for revenge, though I won't lie and say that wasn't satisfying. I came to document a predator's methods so other women could recognize them and protect themselves. I hand the journalist a flash drive. That contains 8 months of documented emotional abuse, including audio recordings, screenshot evidence, and testimonials from multiple victims. You'll find that Jake's behavior follows a precise pattern that I've outlined in detail. This is crazy, Jake says desperately. She's obsessed with me. She created fake evidence. Did I fake the proposal video you sabotaged? I ask. Did I fake the social media post where you humiliated me? Did I fake the text messages where you bragged to your friends about training your girlfriends? Jake's mouth snaps shut. Did I fake the audio recording where you admitted to planning my humiliation for weeks? I continue, because I can play that right now if you'd like. Don't, he whispers. I look around at the assembled crowd. His parents, the journalist, random strangers with their phones out, Chloe documenting everything with her camera, all of them seeing Jake clearly for the first time. I spent 8 months letting you think you were winning, I say, my voice strong and clear. I let you believe you'd successfully broken another woman's spirit. I played the role of grateful victim so convincingly that you never suspected I was the one actually in control. Jake takes a step backward, his confidence completely shattered. But here's what you never understood. I continue, stepping closer. I wasn't your victim. I was your researcher. And now your case study is complete. The annual Harvest Festival transforms downtown into a celebration of autumn. Carved pumpkins line the streets, the smell of cinnamon and apple cider fills the air, and families stroll between vendor booths buying handmade crafts and local produce. It's exactly the kind of wholesome community event where Jake planned to rebuild his reputation, performing as the DJ for the main stage while people forget about his recent misunderstandings. I watch from a coffee shop window as Jake sets up his equipment, adjusting speakers and testing microphones with the focused determination of a man trying to prove he's still relevant. His movements are sharp, desperate. Gone is the easy confidence that used to define him. The festival coordinator, a middle-aged woman with a clipboard, keeps checking her phone and glancing nervously in Jake's direction. At exactly 2 p.m., right when Jake is scheduled to start his set, thejakechronicles.com goes live with its final update. I've spent the past week refining the website into something bigger than a simple revenge project. It's now a comprehensive resource about manipulation tactics, featuring Jake as the primary case study, but expanding into educational content that could help thousands of people recognize psychological abuse. The timing isn't coincidental. Jake's about to perform for the largest audience he's had all year, and I want that audience to know exactly who they're listening to. My phone buzzes with updates as the story spreads across social media. Festival attendees start pulling out their phones, reading, sharing, their expressions shifting from curiosity to disgust. The crowd around Jake's stage begins to thin as people drift away, whispering to each other and pointing. I finish my coffee and walk outside, making my way through the festival toward the main stage. The autumn air is crisp against my skin, carrying the sounds of children laughing and vendors calling out their wares. It feels like walking through a normal world that's about to tilt sideways. Jake spots me in the crowd and his face goes white. He's mid-song, but his hands fumble on the controls, sending a screech of feedback through the speakers. Several people cover their ears and turn away, already annoyed before they even understand what's happening. Then the recognition starts. Holy shit, that's him, I hear someone say behind me. That's the guy from the website. The one who manipulated all those women? My sister shared this story. He's psychotic. The murmurs spread through the crowd like ripples in water. Parents start steering their children away from the stage. Teenagers hold up their phones, recording Jake's increasingly panicked attempts to continue his set. An older man in a Harvest Festival volunteer t-shirt approaches the stage with a determined stride. "Excuse me," the volunteer calls out, waving at Jake to pause his music. "I need to speak with you." Jake reluctantly cuts the music and sudden silence falls over the festival grounds. Without the audio distraction, everyone can focus on the drama unfolding on stage. "Is it true?" the volunteer asks, his voice carrying across the crowd. "Are you Jake Morrison from that website everyone's talking about?" Jake's mouth opens and closes without sound. Around the festival, I watch people looking up from their phones, making the connection between the articles they're reading and the man standing frozen on stage. That website is full of lies, Jake finally manages to say into his microphone. Someone's trying to destroy my reputation. So you didn't manipulate multiple women? Someone shouts from the crowd. You didn't sabotage your girlfriend's proposal video? Calls another voice. What about your sister who tried to kill herself? This from a woman near the front, her voice sharp with accusation. Jake looks desperately around the crowd, searching for friendly faces. Instead, he finds dozens of people recording him, their expressions ranging from disgusted to merely curious about what he'll say next. Turn off your equipment, the festival coordinator says, climbing onto the stage. We're canceling your set. You can't do that, Jake protests, but his voice cracks with desperation. I have a contract. Which includes a morality clause, the woman replies firmly. Pack up your gear and leave the festival grounds. Now. The crowd erupts in scattered applause. Jake stares out at them, his carefully constructed public image crumbling in real time. For a moment, he looks directly at me across the sea of faces, and I see something I've never seen in his eyes before, complete defeat. But then his parents arrive. I watch them push through the crowd, his mother's face streaked with tears, his father grim-faced and determined. They climb onto the stage, and for a moment, I think they've come to support their son, to help him salvage what's left of his reputation. Instead, his mother takes the microphone. My name is Linda Morrison, she says, her voice shaking but clear. This is my son Jake, and I need to say something. The festival falls completely silent. Even children stop their chatter to listen. We raised Jake to respect women, to treat people with kindness and honesty. We thought we'd succeeded. She looks at Jake, who's standing frozen beside his abandoned DJ equipment. We were wrong. A gasp runs through the crowd. Jake reaches for his mother's arm, but she steps away. Yesterday, we learned about things our son did to a young woman named Emma, and to Sarah, who's here today, and to other women whose stories we're just beginning to understand. Linda's voice grows stronger. We want everyone to know that we don't support his actions. We're horrified by them. Jake's father takes the microphone next. We failed as parents somewhere along the way, and innocent people suffered because of it. That ends now. Mom, Dad, please. Jake tries to interject, but his father holds up a hand. We're cutting off your financial support, his father announces. Your car payments, your rent, your credit cards, all of it. You're an adult, and it's time you faced adult consequences for your choices. The crowd watches in stunned silence as Jake's world implodes on stage. His parents walk away without another word, leaving him alone with his equipment and the staring crowd. Pack it up, Jake, the festival coordinator says quietly. Security will escort you out if necessary. I watch Jake fumble with his cables and speakers, his hands shaking so badly he can barely function. The crowd begins to disperse, but many people linger, recording his humiliation or simply watching the spectacle with morbid fascination. As Jake loads his equipment into his car, a car his parents apparently pay for, I spot Emma in the crowd. My sister stands near the bandstand wearing a Survivor Strong t-shirt and watching Jake's downfall with quiet satisfaction. We haven't coordinated this. She came on her own, ready to face the man who nearly destroyed her. When Jake finally drives away, his car loaded with DJ equipment and his dreams of local stardom in ruins, Emma walks over to me. How do you feel? She asks softly. I consider the question, watching Jake's taillights disappear into traffic. The festival is returning to normal around us. Children laugh on the playground. Couples share funnel cake. Vendors call out their wares. The world kept spinning through Jake's downfall, barely pausing to notice his exit. Free, I realize. I feel free. Emma nods, understanding exactly what I mean. We stand together in the crisp autumn air, two women who survived the same predator and lived to watch him face consequences for his actions. My phone buzzes with a notification. Another woman has found the JakeChronicles.com and shared her own story about Jake in the comments. Then another, and another. It turns out Jake's victims number far more than just Emma, Chloe, and me. Women from his college, his previous jobs, his dating app matches, all sharing similar stories of manipulation, humiliation, and psychological abuse. The website has become a gathering place for survivors, a space where they can name what happened to them and realize they're not alone. Sarah, Emma says quietly, thank you. For what? For making him face it, for making everyone see what he really is. She pauses, watching families enjoy the festival around us. For giving me my power back. That evening, I sit in my real apartment, monitoring the continued fallout from Jake's public humiliation. His social media accounts have been deactivated. His phone number is disconnected. His parents' public disavowal has been shared thousands of times, praised as an example of how families should respond when they discover their children's abusive behavior. But the real victory isn't Jake's destruction. It's the community that's formed around the website. Women sharing resources, supporting each other, learning to recognize manipulation tactics before they become victims. The Jake Chronicles has evolved into something bigger than revenge. It's become a tool for education and healing. My phone rings, and I'm surprised to see Chloe's name on the screen. How are you holding up? She asks. Good, I say, and mean it. Really good. The festival was incredible. His own parents disowning him on stage? I've never seen anything like it. They're good people who raised a monster, I reply. Sometimes that happens, despite everyone's best efforts. What's next for you? I look around my apartment, my real space, with my real life, my real work, helping people escape exactly the kind of situation I put myself through to document Jake's behavior. I keep helping people, I say. The website's getting thousands of visits a day now. Women are reaching out for help recognizing manipulation in their own relationships. I think this is just the beginning. And Jake? I consider the question. Jake is finished in this town, unemployed, cut off financially, publicly exposed as an abuser. He'll probably have to start over somewhere else, assuming he learns anything from this experience. Jake is no longer my problem, I say finally. He's his own. After Chloe hangs up, I return to my laptop and the flood of messages from women seeking help. Each story is different, but the patterns are heartbreakingly similar. The gradual erosion of self-worth, the isolation from support systems, the constant questioning of their own perceptions. I've found my calling in these conversations, helping people untangle the psychological knots that manipulators use to control their victims. It's exhausting work, but deeply meaningful. Every woman who recognizes manipulation before it destroys her, every person who leaves an abusive relationship because they finally understand what's happening to them, their victory's worth celebrating. My phone buzzes with one more notification before I close the laptop for the night. A local news station wants to interview me about psychological abuse awareness. A podcast host is interested in having me as a guest. A publisher has reached out about turning my research into a book. Jake thought he was destroying my life when he sabotaged my proposal video. Instead, he handed me the final piece of evidence I needed to expose him completely. And in doing so, gave me the platform to help thousands of other people. Some might call that justice. I call it poetry. 3 days after the festival, Jake appears at my real apartment. I'm working late, responding to emails from women who found my website, when my security monitor shows a familiar figure hunched outside my building. Jake looks terrible, unshaven, wearing the same clothes from the festival, his eyes red-rimmed and desperate. He's been pressing my buzzer for 10 minutes, but I haven't responded. When he finally gives up on the buzzer and starts throwing pebbles at my window, I decide to end this once and for all. I take the elevator down to the lobby, my footsteps echoing in the marble space. Through the glass doors, I can see Jake pacing on the sidewalk, his hands shaking as he runs them through his unwashed hair. The night air carries the scent of rain and urban decay, matching his disheveled appearance. I open the door, but don't step outside. "Sarah," he says immediately, rushing toward me. "Please, I need to talk to you." "We don't have anything to talk about," I reply, keeping my voice level. "Yes, we do, please." His voice cracks. "I know you're angry, but this has gone too far. My whole life is ruined." "Your life is ruined?" I let the words hang between us. "Jake, you tried to ruin my sister's life. You tried to ruin mine. You've spent years ruining women's lives for your own entertainment. But I never meant—" "Yes, you did." I step forward slightly, making him back up. You meant every bit of it. The planning, the manipulation, the humiliation. You enjoyed it. Jake's face crumples, and for a moment, I think he might actually break down crying on my doorstep. Instead, he straightens up and tries a different approach. Look, I'll pay you, he says desperately. Whatever you want, just take down the website, please. You'll pay me? I almost laugh. With what money? Your parents cut you off. You lost your job. What exactly are you planning to pay me with? I'll figure it out. I'll get another job. I'll work double shifts, whatever it takes. His voice rises with panic. Sarah, people are calling me a sociopath. My own family won't talk to me. I can't even go to the grocery store without people recognizing me. That must be really hard for you, I say flatly. It is. God, it really is. Do you have any idea what it's like to have everyone you know turn against you overnight? I stare at him for a long moment, remembering Emma's suicide attempt, remembering Chloe's stories, remembering all the women who've reached out to share their experiences with his particular brand of cruelty. Actually, yes, I say. I know exactly what that feels like. Because that's what you do to people, Jake. You turn their friends against them. You isolate them. You make them question their own reality until they don't trust anyone, including themselves. But this is different. How? Because I'm not a bad person. I made mistakes, but I'm not evil. I'm not a monster. He's crying now, actual tears streaming down his face. I loved you, Sarah. I really did. And I loved Emma too, in my own way. The words hit like a slap. Don't you dare, I say, my voice dropping to barely above a whisper. Don't you dare claim you loved her while she was writing suicide notes because of what you did to her. I didn't know she would. You knew exactly what you were doing. You photographed her crying. You shared those photos with your friends. You systematically destroyed her self-esteem because you found it amusing. My hands clench into fists. And when I gave you the chance to be different, to treat someone with basic human decency, you chose to humiliate me instead. Jake wipes his nose with the back of his hand, leaving a wet streak across his cheek. I was scared, okay? I was scared of commitment, scared of being vulnerable, scared of getting hurt. So I hurt you first. And that's supposed to make it okay? No, but it's supposed to make it understandable. Human. He takes a step closer, and I notice he smells like alcohol and desperation. Sarah, I know I fucked up, but I can change. I can be better. Can you? Yes, I swear to God, yes. I'll go to therapy, I'll take anger management classes, whatever you want. Just give me a chance to prove I'm not the monster you've made me out to be. For a moment, I almost feel sorry for him. Standing there in his wrinkled clothes, begging for a forgiveness he doesn't deserve, Jake looks pathetic rather than dangerous. But then, I remember Emma's voice when she called me from the hospital, barely coherent through her tears and medication. I remember Chloe's screenshots. I remember every woman who's reached out through my website with their own stories of manipulation and abuse. Jake, I say quietly, do you remember what you told me when I asked you to take down the proposal video? His face goes blank. You said I needed to be taken down a peg. You said I was too controlling, too demanding, too much. I step closer to the glass door, putting more distance between us. You said actions have consequences. Sarah, please, and so here are the consequences of your actions. Your reputation is destroyed because you destroyed other people's lives. Your family disowned you because they're horrified by your behavior. Your friends abandoned you because they finally see who you really are. But you could fix this. You could tell people I've changed, that I'm sorry, that... No. The word lands between us like a door slamming shut. No, I repeat. I won't fix this for you. I won't minimize what you did. I won't provide you with another victim to manipulate into giving you absolution. Jake stares at me, his mouth opening and closing without sound. You taught me that actions have consequences. I continue, so here are yours. Live with them. I step back into the lobby and let the door close between us. Jake presses his hands against the glass, his face distorted by the reflection in his tears. Sarah! He calls, his voice muffled by the barrier. Sarah, please! I'm begging you! I watch him for a moment through the glass, this man who once seemed so confident, so charming, so in control. Now he looks like what he's always been underneath the manipulation, small, petty, and powerless when he can't control other people's emotions. I turn and walk toward the elevator without looking back. Behind me, I can hear Jake calling my name, his voice echoing in the empty street. But the sound fades as the elevator doors close, carrying me away from his desperation and back to my real life. In my apartment, I pour myself a glass of wine and return to my laptop. Dozens of new messages wait for me, women sharing their stories, asking for advice, thanking me for showing them they're not alone. Each message is a reminder of why I did this, why it was worth 8 months of careful planning and documentation. My phone buzzes with a text from Emma. Saw Jake outside your building on the security cam feed. You okay? I type back. Better than okay. He's gone. Good. Proud of you. Proud of us both. I set the phone aside and return to my work. Outside my window, the city continues its nightly rhythm. Cars passing, people walking home from late dinners, life moving forward without pause for one man's downfall. Jake will probably try again. Men like him don't give up easily when they lose control of a situation. He might create fake accounts to harass me online, or spread lies about my business, or find new ways to make himself the victim of this story, but I'm not afraid of him anymore. I've seen behind his mask, documented his methods, and proven that his power only exists when his victims don't understand what's happening to them. Knowledge is the antidote to manipulation, and I've got 8 months of research proving it. My laptop chimes with another message, this one from a woman in Portland whose ex-boyfriend used Jake's exact playbook against her. As I type my response, offering resources and validation, I think about the network we're building. Survivors connecting with survivors, sharing strategies and support. Jake wanted to make me smaller, more controllable, easier to manipulate. Instead, he gave me the platform to become larger than I ever imagined possible. Some people might call that irony. I call it justice.